Hello, beautiful family. Welcome back to 10,000 Tapping. You're here with me, Sonya Sophia, broadcasting live from Austin, Texas, and you are in the World Tapping Circle, which is a place for you to come, to be yourself, to free yourself, remembering that the more we free the me, the more we free the we. So I'm honored to be the person who gets to support you in today's journey with EFT tapping, also known as emotional freedom technique. Hopefully you were able to watch the video at the beginning in the waiting room that tells you more about tapping and where the points are and how things work. If not, that's something that you'll probably want to jump into at some point. If you're logging in for the first time, let us know in the chat if you're here live with us. Otherwise, hello to you in the replay video world. And let us know where you're logging in from. This is so exciting. I am ever amazed. I'm seeing Wisconsin, California, San Francisco, Oakland, Christina in Australia. Noreen in Australia also. Infinite blessings for this work, Sonya, she says. Thank you. Purple Dragon in New Brunswick, Canada. Hello from Virginia. Gail in Hawaii. Really happy to see you. It's been years. Jana M, World of Love to us from Washington in the U.S. I see Brigitte in Brazil. Hello, all you first timers. The chat is flying by so fast I can barely read it. I see Shakti in Durango, Patricia in Rhode Island, Michaela in Ithaca, New York. Just hello. Erin, you're having another tapping party here in Texas. Cindy in Memphis, Tennessee. Christina in Sebastopol. I see Memphis, Oregon, Florida, Zurich. Hello, Christina from Zurich. Wow. Mark D coming in with Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay's having a tapping party here in Austin as well. And I'll just say what a tapping party is that when you and a friend gather together to do one of these videos, you are having a tapping party, which makes it even more fun to sit down with someone else that you know and love and process together. It really builds intimacy, it builds community, and it's a beautiful practice to share with friends and loved ones and even family members. It's really powerful to do. So consider using your video library in the future, using any of the videos that way. This is meant to be something that helps so many people, and the more you share this, the more people we get to help, and the better our world feels. So you may have heard of the Maharishi effect. I talked about it in the first video. There's also another study that was done a long time ago, the 100th monkey effect, which you may be familiar with, that when one of us does something, it puts that information into the field of possibilities, and more people can easily pick it up because it's already been done. And a great example of that was the 4-minute mile. Before the first person was able to run 1 mile in 4 minutes, it was thought to be impossible. At the time the first person ran that 4-minute mile, suddenly people all over the world within a very short time were also able to run that 4-minute mile. Partially because psychologically they realized it was possible, and partially because that information goes into the field and suddenly we humans can pick it up. That also happens a lot with inventors and inventions. People will file patents around the same time within a few months of each other for something very, very similar because that information gets picked up by all of us. So my idea with creating this 10,000 tapping project is to say, wow, what would happen if thousands of us gathered on a regular basis and put the information into the field that we are willing to do our work, that we are willing to clear decades and generations of ancestral pain and cultural conditioning and trauma and grief and anger and sadness and fear. What if the new human experience was accelerated by mass amounts of people saying, yeah, I'll do my work. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a cleanup party, and I'm going to do it right here inside myself. What I've seen from training groups of people is that when one person in a family starts to really clean out what's inside of them, the whole family feels the relief. Relationships change, and even people that you may not have talked to for a long time tend to relax and open up. So thank you for being that person in your family. All right. And Diane is chiming in and said she did the Maharishi calculation, and the square root of the 1% of the current world population is 8,678, so 10,000 would be even more. That's right. I threw in a couple extra thousand just for good measure. And I want you to know that as we're doing these days of tapping together, I created this platform so it could go far beyond this week. This is our big launch. But my goal is to do this every single week. And when there's enough people in enough different time zones, we can do 2. One in your time zone and one in mine, so that the whole world is covered by having a circle that they could attend. And this platform is stable up to 10,000 people and possibly 20. So help me bring more people to this free experience. And I hope that you'll consider becoming a member of the World Tapping Circle after you see what EFT can do for you and help support us to keep it growing. All right. Today's circle is accelerating health and healing. And this is going to be really useful for those of you who've struggled with physical pain or any kind of recovery process, whether that be recovering from addiction or substance abuse, or recovering from accidents, illness, injury, diseases, things like this. The newest science coming out is saying that your attitude, your feelings have a lot to do with your healing. So even if you're feeling pretty good right now, maybe you have some tension in your neck. Maybe there's a stiffness in your back. Maybe there's a headache that you have. You can feel into how to use this on a physical level simply by noticing how you feel. One really easy thing to do if you're feeling in great health is just to turn your head and see, okay, when I turn my head this way, my nose lines up with that. When I turn my head this way, my nose lines up with that. And what I feel when I do that with my head is that my head feels a little more stiff when I turn it to the right. You can probably see that than when I turn it to the left. So as I tap and have that in my mind as I focus, I'll probably see my range of movement increase. That's a really easy, fun exercise to do if you have nothing else to work on. But if you're here, I'm sure you have something that you really want to start healing. All right, I think we're ready to begin. We're going to start with a little pre-tap, meaning we're just going to jump right into the tapping. Then we're going to pause. We're going to do the core causes survey for 5 minutes so we can get even more information coming up from our subconscious to release this old, stuck, stagnant pain, emotional pain, memory, data, information from our cells. You're literally releasing cellular memory, not just from your brain, but your entire being. And you'll feel that coming out of you in the form of sudden realizations, off-gassing, stored stress through crying, tingles, shivers of energy, feeling like there's a semi-psychedelic experience going on, because the neurons in your brain are actually talking to the neurons in your heart and body. And you have almost exactly the same type of neurons in your heart. They're called neurites. Neur for brain, neurites in your heart, and neurons in your brain. And when they come into alignment, you create a coherence. You create a wave of information that means you are connected and whole and aligned with yourself. And when that happens, it's the same type of thing that monks and Tibetan lamas do when they're meditating. And you're creating a different brain state, which puts your brain in a different brainwave pattern. And when you're in that brainwave pattern, your body has a lot more electricity and a lot more ability to clear and heal and balance itself. So even though it may seem a little bit magic, there's a lot of science behind what we're doing, and I'm trying to keep it really simple so that you don't have to study it, you can just experience it. All right, massaging the front of the chest, big deep breath. Tuning in to the issue that you want to accelerate health and healing about. And when I say this issue, you say what your issue is. Even though I have this issue, repeat after me, even though I have this issue, and then say what your issue is. For example, this pain in my back. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Big deep breath. And tapping the beginning of the eyebrows. Now you can use 1 or 2 hands. It's perfectly fine just to tap with one hand. You'll just want to switch to the other hand at some point during the session, or you can use both hands. I accept this situation, and say what your situation, meaning your issue, is for now. Tapping the temples. Let's say that again. I accept this issue for now. Tapping the cheeks. It's hard to accept this issue. Let's just be honest. Tapping under the nose. Part of me does not want to accept this issue. Tapping under the lips. I accept that it's hard to accept this issue. And tapping the chest. Big deep breath. And breathe. Tapping down to the front of the ribs, bottom of the rib cage. Right on those last couple of ribs where they stick out most in front. Part of me has been ignoring this. Tap the side of the ribs, side seam of the body. So you could cross your arms like this and tap right here on both sides, or you can go like this and tap like this. But it's nipple height, side seam of the body. I accept the part of me that wants to ignore this, because I'm afraid that it's never going to change. And that's how I get through my day. Tapping the inside of the wrist. I've had to ignore this to get through my day. Tap the side of the thumb. It's hard to imagine. Tapping is going to help me. And for those of you watching this whose first language isn't English, if you can, repeat after me, but translate it into your own first language. Tap the index finger. Even though I'm afraid tapping will not help me. Tap the middle finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the bottom of the 4th finger. I accept the part of me that can't imagine my body could heal itself. Tap the little finger. And that these pains and problems could go away. Tap the side of the hand. I'm open to the possibility of letting this old energy move so that I can recover my energy my strength, and my happiness. Tapping the top of the head. I allow myself to be open-minded and to experiment. And tapping the sides of the head and the back of the head. And luckily, that's all it takes. You don't have to believe in EFT for it to work. You just have to be open-minded and willing to experiment. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper. So we're going to put the core causes survey up. You'll see a button pop up that allows you to answer these questions. This information is for you so that you can dig deeper, find old information in your subconscious that maybe you forgot about or you're unaware, and start processing that. So we're also going to roll it on the screen for those of you who are watching this in the video library, and we'll see you in 5 minutes. All right, sweethearts. Hopefully you just learned a lot about yourself and where things may have started. And now we're going to tap that information through. So I want to explain something to you about EFT. Most of this session, we're going to be acknowledging and empathizing, giving forgiveness and compassion to what's happened to us. That may sound a little bit negative because we're acknowledging this pain inside of us. But the reason we do that is because this pain has never met love. And when you bring love and acceptance and compassion to this part of your body, to this part of your mind, to this part of your history, it changes it. It changes the way your body processes it, and it allows it to come out and be done. So a lot of what creates physical pain is stored stress, fear, pain, and memory in the body. So we want to release that package of energy so that your body can correct itself. Okay? Also, I wanted to say that tapping creates a lot of oxytocin, which is a hormone that your brain makes that also makes when you're singing, dancing, making love, being held, deep eye contact, all of these beautiful things that we love to do. Tapping does the same thing chemically for your body. So it's going to really help accelerate your healing because the oxytocin stops another chemical, which is a stress compound called cortisol, from destroying your body. Here we go. That's enough science for one day, don't you think? Massaging the chest. Big deep breath. Tuning in on the issue that you're working on. Remembering that you can edit these words and say what you need to say. No matter what I'm saying, I want you to be honest with yourself and change the words to more perfectly fit your situation. Woo! Here we go. Even though I have this issue with, and say what it is, I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the eyebrows. Thinking about your issue, tuning into it, tapping the temples. I accept that and then say what it is that's going on. For example, my left leg is not working right, whatever it is for you. Tapping the cheeks. This issue is taking a lot of my energy. Tapping under the nose. It's taking attention and energy away from other things. Tapping under the lips and just giving yourself some compassion, because if you're in pain or you're not feeling good, it's distracting, right? And it can be very frustrating. Tap the chest. And tiring. Big deep breath. Part of me feels tired of having this problem. And tapping down to the front of the chest. Someone asked me to show the points. Let's see what I can do to show right here. Okay, bottom of the ribs. Even though I have this issue and it's exhausting, tapping the side of the ribs. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. And tapping the inside of the wrist. I accept the part of me that feels tired of this. Big deep breath and just acknowledge all the energy it takes to deal with this in your life. Maybe you have to take special medication. Maybe you need to take your time walking. Maybe it takes you a lot longer to do things than it does other people who don't have this problem. And all of that can feel kind of depressing. Tap the side of the thumb. I accept the part of me that feels, and then describe how you feel about your issue. Does it make you angry? Does it make you embarrassed? Tapping the index finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even if I continue to feel this way. And tap the middle finger and say those same feelings again. For example, angry and embarrassed. Maybe it's tired and depressed. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I wish I didn't have to deal with this. Tap the little finger. It's been going on so long. Big, deep breath. I'm just thinking about how long you've had to deal with this. Has it been weeks, months, days, years? Tapping the side of the hand. I'm tired of struggling with this. Big deep breath. Tapping the top of the head. How long has it been going on? Say it out loud. And tapping the eyebrows. When did it start? It started back when what was going on? And tapping the temple. Tapping the cheeks. It started back when, and say it again. Tapping under the nose. Big deep breath. And tapping under the lips. How old were you when this started? I was 5, or it started when I was born. Tapping the chest. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though this started, and say again when you think it started. And tapping down to the front of the ribs. I think, and then say what you think is underneath this. What do you think the root cause of this is? Is it some abuse that you suffered? Was it shock? Or grief? Tap the side of the ribs. Big deep breath. I'm allowing myself to feel what's really underneath this. I'm tapping the inside of the wrist. I'm allowing myself to have access to the information that shows me where this started. Big deep breath. Tapping the side of the thumb. I'm giving myself permission to bring compassion to that place. So sending compassion back to wherever this started. Maybe it started when you were a little baby. Maybe it started when your parents yelled at you or got a divorce. But I want you to send some love back to whenever that started, as far back as you can go. And tapping the index finger. And I want you to bring comfort to this previous version of you and say to them, I want you to know that you make it. I want you to know that you're worthy of love. Tap the middle finger. I want you to know that you're forgiven. Let's say that again. And if you're speaking something other than English normally, again, I remind you to say this in your first language. Saying to this earlier version of yourself, I want you to know you're worthy of love. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger, I want you to know that it's not your fault. Tapping your little finger, I want you to know that you are forgiven. Tapping the side of the hand. It's safe to release the pain and stress that started here. Big deep breath. Tapping the top of the head. Who do you blame for the situation? Maybe you blame God. Maybe you blame your mother. Maybe you blame your father. Maybe you blame somebody who hurt you. Maybe you sort of know it's not their fault, but maybe you blame them anyway. Maybe you blame yourself. So I want you to just go through a list of whoever you blame emotionally, even if you don't think it's technically their fault. And say that list as you're tapping. I blame who? Tapping the eyebrows. Keep talking. Who are you blaming? Tapping the temples. Big deep breath. Last chance to blame. I blame everybody. I blame the government. I blame the culture. I blame men. I blame women. Who are we blaming? Tapping the cheeks. I'm open to releasing the shame and blame that's stuck in my body. Tapping under the nose, even if it is their fault. And it might be. Tapping under the lips. Holding on to this blame is not helping me heal. Tapping the chest. I deserve to have my energy back. I'm allowing my body to heal. At the very root of this problem. Big deep breath. Tapping down to the front of the rib cage. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the side of the ribs. Even if I hold on to this anger and judgment, because I deserve to be treated better. And I want them to say they're sorry. I want them to learn their lesson. Tapping the inside of the wrist. Tap the side of the thumb. I'm open to forgiving myself and everybody involved so I can have my life force back. Big, noisy breath, sending a huge wave of forgiveness to the past. Letting it wash clean. Tapping the index finger, even if there's still a part of me that wants justice. It's okay. I accept the part of me that wants justice. Big deep breath, opening your heart to this part of you that wants things to be made right. And tapping the middle finger. I'm giving myself permission to let go of what happened, even if what happened was unspeakable. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. This unspeakable pain. Big deep breath, thinking again about what happened. Go through it in your mind. See it like a movie. Whatever you think is at the beginning of this, I want you to visualize it. Tapping your little finger. Breathe. Sending compassion to the people involved. Maybe people that hurt you or ignored you or didn't understand what was happening. Tapping the side of the hand. I'm releasing the pain and fear trapped in my body that's been affecting my health, especially, and then you can say where it's been affecting you in your body, like in my heart, in my head, in my lungs, in my back. Tapping the top of the head. I'm giving myself permission to release this remaining fear, pain, and old memories. Tapping the eyebrow, including the memory of what? This is where you have 30 seconds to discuss what you think happened. Tapping the temples, keep talking. Tapping the cheeks, keep talking. Tapping under the nose. And under the lips. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the chest, even if I'm still processing this old memory. Especially the part, what's the hardest part about this memory? Maybe it's the part I forgot and I can't reach. Maybe it's the part where somebody laughed or was cruel to you. Tapping the front of the ribs. It's safe for my body to release this memory now. Say it 3 times. It's safe for my body to release this memory now. It's safe for my body to release this memory now. And breathe. Tapping the side of the ribs. I'm allowing myself to get my energy back. Tapping the inside of the wrist. Let's try trading hands this time. I'm allowing my body to heal naturally and spontaneously. Tap the side of the thumb. Even if I can still feel, and then say what you feel in this part of your body. Maybe it's you feel pain or you feel blockages. Big deep breath, tuning into that part of your body or yourself that's suffering. And I want you just to accept whatever you find without judging it, labeling it, or changing it. Tapping the index finger, I'm giving myself permission to accept the sensation, and then say what you say. The sensation of pain in my neck. Whatever that is for you. Tapping the middle finger. I'm allowing this to heal. Tapping the bottom of the 4th finger. Releasing any attachment to things staying the same. So let's talk about that for a second. Sometimes something has been this way for so long that it becomes part of our identity. And we can't imagine what it would be like not to have this problem. But for us to heal it, we have to imagine beyond our current situation. Tap the little finger. So let's say this, even though I'm so used to this, and then say what your issue is. For example, this pain in my back. Tap the side of the hand. It's okay. I accept the part of me that feels like this is normal for me. Tapping the top of the head. This part of me is so used to this pain. And tapping the eyebrow. I'm open to loving and expressing myself. Tapping the temples. Even though I'm so used to the experience of, and then say again what your experience is. For example, not being able to sleep at night, tapping the cheeks. Part of me expects this to continue, tapping under the nose, and maybe get worse, right? That's what we get told sometimes, that it's only going to get worse. Big deep breath. Tapping the chest. I'm open to the possibility of finding solutions, being intuitively guided to the right tools, the right techniques, the right teachers, the right support for me. And that could be a lot of different kinds of support, but when you're intuitively guided, you usually land in the right place. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm giving myself permission to be guided to the right kind of support. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm practicing emotionally supporting myself right now. And that's huge. All right, we're going to have a little pause and a little check-in. So this is the part where we activate the chat again. And I want you to tune in to your issue and see if the number you gave it has changed. At the beginning, I asked you to rate it from 1 to 10, 10 being the most intense. And it's okay if it hasn't changed. Some people are going to take a little bit longer, and some people are going to start dropping immediately. So I'd love to hear where your numbers are now, keeping in mind that we still have 15 minutes to process. For those of you on replay who aren't chatting with us, I want you to tap while you check in with yourself and ask yourself if you're having physical pain or you're doing the neck test, you'll just simply check your neck again. Okay, without any effort, my head feels like it's going to the right much more easily, without me stretching it, without me pushing it. And let's see what's happening in the chat. Jane says, I've gone from a 9 to a 1. That's amazing, Jane. Colton, from a 7 to a 4. Tapping party in Ohio with Golden Dragon, 8 to a 5. Lynn says, hasn't changed yet. That's okay. Aaron says it was a 7, now it's a 5. Sweet John says, I've gone from a 10 to a 6. Jean says an 8 to a 5. Purple Dragon says it was a 9, now it's a 7. Alda says a 10 to a 7. Lynette, down from a 10 to a 5. Wow. Yes, it's exciting, right? We didn't tap for very long. Rosina went from a 4 to a 2 or a 3. Priscilla, an 8 to a 6. Teresa, a 9 to a 3. Hooray. Ongala says a 10 to a 6. Monica, a 9 to a 4. Anna Reed says a 10 to a 5. Sandra says a 5 to a 3. Okay, there's so many of these. I can't read them all because we need this time for tapping, but I am seeing a lot of improvement. And as you scroll through, you will see it also. So many people moving so quickly. Let's continue on. Even though I have this issue with, and say what your issue is again. I'm open to loving and expressing myself. Tapping the eyebrows. I give myself permission to heal what's behind this. Thinking again about what you think is behind it. Tapping the cheeks, including patterns in my family where I saw. Tune in and see if you saw people in your family suffering in a similar way. And they said, oh, you're like me. And as a child, you were like, oh, I'll have that same problem then probably. Tapping under the nose. Tapping under the lips. I'm releasing the need to have it just because people in my family had this. Tapping the chest. I give myself permission to continue to release any attachment I have to this condition. When I say attachment to the condition, what does that mean? Well, sometimes we get special treatment when we're sick. Sometimes we get people to help us, support us because we need it, but sometimes it actually feels good because it's a way of bringing attention that maybe was missing. Maybe we wouldn't get that kind of extra love and attention if we were feeling strong and well. And we think, wow, I'm going to miss out on a lot of love. Tap the side of the ribs. Maybe it's become a main topic of conversation. What would we talk about if we weren't talking about this? And tapping the inside of the wrist. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the side of the thumb. Even if part of me gets a little bit of what from having this problem? Do you get a free parking place? Do you get extra money from the government? Do you get sympathy from men or women? Tapping the index finger. I accept the part of me that has become used to that. Tapping the middle finger. And I'm allowing myself to still have extra love and support. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Even without this problem. Tap the little finger. I allow myself the possibility of regenerating my health at the very core. Tap the side of the hand, even if it takes a while. Okay, so just tapping your hand and listening. So some people heal very quickly, and some people take longer. It depends on a lot of things. But I guarantee you that tapping is going to speed up that process. And it's going to help you with the psychological, energetic, and emotional components, which often help significantly, sometimes completely. So tapping the top of the head. What is something that's negative that you tell yourself about this issue? You tell yourself that you deserve to suffer? Say it out loud. What is this negative belief about this issue? Maybe it's a sense of pride. Maybe it gives you motivation. I'm tapping this eyebrow. I'm open to loving and accepting myself, even though there's a part of me that says, and then say what that part of you is saying. Tapping the cheeks. I'm releasing this idea, and say this negative idea again. For example, oh, it proves how tough I am, or no one will take care of me if this part of me isn't broken. Tapping under the lips. It's safe to release this thought. Tap the chest and replace it with a new one. So what would a positive thought be? For example, if it's around being tough, then I know how strong I am and I don't have to suffer and prove it. Tapping the front of the ribs, big deep breath. I'm allowing myself a new positive thought. Say your positive thought again. This is where you're recoding your body with new information. Tap the side of the ribs. Say your positive thought one more time, and say it with some enthusiasm. I allow myself to feel strong and worthy of love. Tap the inside of the wrist. I allow myself to be gentle with myself. Tap the side of the thumb. To treat myself with loving kindness. What would that be like, to be gentle with yourself instead of angry at this part of your body? Tap the index finger. I accept any remaining anger towards myself, especially and then say whatever part of you is being affected, my heart, my head. I accept that a part of me might still be angry or judgmental. Tapping the middle finger, this remaining feeling of, and say whatever feeling you have towards yourself and this part of your body or this part of your life. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. What loving thought would you like to replace this thought with? For example, if I think to myself that it makes me ugly or it makes me not good enough, then I want to tell myself, it's possible you're good enough even with this exactly as it is. Tap the little finger and say that positive thought again. Tap the side of the hand. I'm giving myself permission to feed my body love and encouragement. Tapping the top of the head. So I want you to send love and kindness to this part of your body or this part of your life that still feels affected. Imagining yourself feeling comfortable here. What would it be like to feel kind towards this part of you and also to be comfortable in this part of you? Tapping the cheeks and breathing. Tapping under the nose. I give myself permission. Tapping under the lips to heal, to be kind and compassionate with myself. Tap the chest. I am being guided to exactly what I need to bring my energy, my health, and my peace back. Big deep breath. All right, we're going to check in again. So just tapping all over the body. Tell yourself some loving, encouraging words. Thank yourself for taking some time to do this. I'm proud of myself for taking steps to resolve the emotions and the memories behind this. And I am on my way to full recovery. I am on my way to full recovery now. All right, sweet beings, check in with your body, check in with yourself. How are you feeling now? Drop that in the chat. I'm feeling much warmer. And while you're doing that, I'm going to let you know that if you decide you want to commit to using circle as a part of your healing of yourself and keep this practice in your life, that I broadcast a circle at this time of day every single week, even after 10,000 tapping is over. I will be broadcasting every Monday in Central Time, and that I have hundreds of tap-along videos waiting for you in our big members area video library. And if you're curious about what that would be like, you can try it out for $1 for a whole month so you can continue your healing journey. You may have really moved mountains, maybe you've resolved this completely, but you also could need a few more hours or weeks to keep working out all the different layers, especially if it was an abuse or a trauma situation. You need to clear lots of memories, and you'll need some time to do that. If you decide you want to jump in and commit to that $1 for 1 month, I will send you a free audio download called Thriving Now. And that's about an hour and a half of positive affirmations where you're tapping and saying these beautiful positive things to yourself. Now, I'm going to warn you that that download is one of the most powerful ones I have because it's pure positive. So when you're using that download, if you can't say that many positive things, and you might need to turn it around and say, no, I do not love myself. And then you're like, okay, I do love myself. You might have to say some negative things in it to actually honor the part of you that doesn't agree yet with that much love. And once you can honor that part of yourself, you can go back to saying the positive things again. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It is a very powerful practice to sit there and say pure love to yourself again and again. But a lot of people really love this CD, and I'm going to send you the audio download if you decide you want to jump in and commit to Circle. My goal is for a couple of thousand people to say, yes, I want to do this. For two reasons. One, it's going to help the collective if we keep pumping the field. And two, it's going to allow me to continue to pay for the amount of technology and people and time it takes to run this circle, and eventually buy a retreat center where I can continue to train more practitioners. Because right now I'm traveling around the world renting retreat centers all over the place. And if you're interested in that, you can go to my website, which will be linked in your replay video email. I'm going to read the chat here in just a second. Anne says, I've gone to a 9 to a 2. Noreen says a 10 to a 3. Susan says she went from a 5 to a 9. Sometimes that happens because you're actually defrosting and thawing out numbness, so it might spike for a minute before it starts going down. But keep working it through. Cedar says, I started at a 6 and it's only slightly gone down. People process at different rates. Be patient and kind with yourself. Jennifer's gone from a 6 to a 2. Denise, a 10 to a 6. Kylene, an 8 to a 2. Ray says, my rate has gone down a bit. I feel lighter. Thank you for this beautiful experience. You are amazing. Much love and gratitude. A 10 to a 3. So notice what we can do in a very short period of time. What do you think would happen if you spent 4 or 5 hours tapping on this issue and unraveling all the little pieces? I think it would make a tremendous difference to you. I've seen a lot of people heal all kinds of things that even doctors didn't know what to do with through learning how to manage their own consciousness and their own energy. So I hope you will continue to experiment with tapping. And for those of you who might want to help some other people who are really, really suffering to learn what you're learning, I will also send you a free audio download for sharing on social media. And we will send you instructions in the replay video about how to do that. But basically, you're going to take a video of yourself, take a picture of yourself, go into the video library that comes with 10,000 tapping. You could take one of our images and just talk about your experience and hashtag us with 10,000 tapping, just the number, no comma, and @ World Tapping Circle so that we know that you did it. And then email us at love@worldtappingcircle.com so that we can send you your audio download. I love you. I'm here. We're going to do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about EFT for people who help take care of other people. So if you're a parent, a teacher, a caregiver, somebody that works with people, somebody that leads people, somebody that sometimes overly takes care of other people, this tap is going to really, really help you find that balance so that you're maintaining yourself so that you can give love more deeply and process the pain that sometimes we take on from other people's pain and problems so that you can have your energy, hold your beautiful, calm, centered space, and take better care of yourself, which in turn helps the people that rely on you to feel better, be better, and do better. I want to thank you again for taking this time out for yourself. Please email your friends, post it on Facebook. This is a free experience, and I really want 10,000 of us to be tapping by the end of the week. The link to share is unified.org/10,000 tapping. Send that out to people that you love. Who do you know that could use these videos? They're going to get the same amount of videos. You're all going to get all 7 of them, and I want you to keep them and use them forever. So I'm not going to make them disappear. You're going to get to keep using these again and again and share them to anyone that you meet who is suffering, and let them know that we have tools in this world now that accelerate our ability to learn and evolve, and that when one of us heals, we all heal. So thank you again for your time, your precious attention, and I can't wait to see you in the circle.